Before we get to everybody tonight, I'm going to depart from format a little, just so we can tell the people your most extraordinary story, so they know where you're coming from here on tonight's panel. Because I've read about it, but I don't know if everybody has, and let's just go through the beats. You were born in Africa.
Somalia.
Right? Somalia, okay. You have come from a Muslim family, and you had a lot of journeys, but basically the one that got you to Holland, which is where you went, it was because you were escaping...
An arranged marriage.
An arranged marriage. You didn't want to marry the guy your father picked out for you.
Yes. And
probably because
he
was an old goat.
Oh, no, he wasn't that old. He was only 27, but I didn't want to become an old goat.
Right. Okay. So you went to Holland, the land of freedom, where we know you can smoke hash in church.
Yes. That's not fair.
And Janet Jackson's nipple is on the flag. That's Holland.
This is not about fair.
Okay.
It is?
Yes, it is.
Cool.
So...
it isn't.
It's not.
And once you were in Holland, you were a member of the parliament, you got involved in trying to educate other Muslim women there, right?
Yes.
That they could be free in a way they probably hadn't thought about it. And you participated in a short film by a man named Theo Van Gogh, which was critical of Muslim oppression of women. That director, Theo Van Gogh, for his trouble, got killed for it by some Muslim who didn't like it. Stabbed in the street, and in the knife that was in his chest was a death threat to you.
Yes.
And Stephen Weber, you're on Studio 60 on
That's right. That's right.
How's that go?
I'm in the why the fuck is he here chair. That's right.
All right. So I just want people to know
man.
your story,
Because
she's an extraordinary person and a real hero to me and a lot of other people. Okay, but you said, is Islam a religion of peace? You are one of the brave people who says it's not really a religion of peace.
It's not a religion of peace, and immediately after 9/11, they should have said it's not a religion of peace. We are up against Islam. 17 or 16 men out of 19 of the attackers came from Saudi Arabia, and we have to face Saudi Arabia. But instead, we went to Afghanistan.
And we could broaden it out from Saudi Arabia.
Yes. But I mean, don't those people represent a more extremist view of Islam? You know, I mean, aren't religions at first aren't they supposed to appeal to people's moderate tastes, moderate instincts,
well, they're
in order
supposed
to win them over?
No,
and then,
they're not all
and then aren't
right.
they then co-opted by extremists, by radical extremists?
It was extremist to begin with.
Yes.
Muhammad was a warrior.
Yes.
The big lie is that all religions are basically alike. They all preach the same thing. Well, of course, the Bible is full of a lot of violence. I mean, God in the Old Testament is a psychopath. He just kills, kills for no reason, good reasons, bad reasons. He's jealous. He just wants to kill. He is. He's the rifleman. But he doesn't seem to aim it so much at outsiders. You know, he wipes out the Jews except for Noah because they were bad to him or whatever. But he doesn't keep saying, in the Quran, it seems to me, I don't read Arabic, but it seems to me...
You should learn?
Do you?
No.
But your family's from Lebanon. You must know a little.
A little.
Okay. It seems to me that in the Quran, God keeps saying, if you're not one of us, you're an infidel, and burning would be too good for you.
So there are no moderate Muslims?
No.
No.
But you should what we should do is we should make a clear distinction between Islam as a set of beliefs, as we have done in the past in the West. Christianity was seen to be a set of beliefs. Communism was seen to be a set of beliefs. But then Muslims are adherents, and we can appeal to them, we can appeal to their common sense, and we can tell them, listen, as a Muslim, these are some of the fundamentals of your religion that are compatible with democracy and with liberalism, and we have no issue with that. But here are a number of principles within your religion that we simply cannot turn. I mean, if you declare war on us, bin Laden is doing that. He's using the Quran and the guidance of the Prophet Muhammad to declare war. He's gathering a constituency. He's growing big. And so it is legitimate to tell Muslims, whether you view your religion as peace or not, this is how your religion is being used, and it's much better to get worked up about beheading people in the name of Islam than about drawing the Prophet Muhammad in a cartoon.
And they still whack people. You know, every religion has elements in it that are very mafia-like. Godfather 3, a movie I liked, nobody else did, but I thought it was a good movie, was about how the Catholic Church, is very much like Michael Corleone's mob family. But the Catholic Church has calmed down a lot since the 14th century. But, there's a death threat on you. There's a death threat on people in your country that still speak. There's a death threat on Salman Rushdie. They still whack people in Islam. It's still a lot about, if you don't agree with me, we'll settle it by getting whacked.
It's bizarre that we're living in a time where we hear a lot about beheadings and torture.
We don't hear it, we see it.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah. Bill, one of the problems we have as Americans is, in my opinion, having traveled the region a little bit, is that we try to say Muslims as though it was one place. If you go to the Palestinian territories, the one thing you'll see is that for over 1,000 years, Christians and Muslims have lived side by side. Their churches and their mosques are next to each other. So we can talk about radical Islam, but you see no evidence of it there. You go to Ethiopia, where you have some of the oldest Christians in the world, and Muslims. They have a lot of problems in Ethiopia. We'll go endless on the problems in Ethiopia. I mean, except that they look down on Somalia for their problems. But there's no question that religious tolerance of the two living side by side has not been about extremism, convert or you'll die.
I just simply don't agree with that.
Well, unfortunately, 1,000-year-old churches don't lie.
Let me tell you something. It was always fine as long as Christians and Jews would accept an inferior position as dhimmis and as a minority, and they would pay their extra taxes and so on. They could have their synagogues, they could have their churches, that was all fine. But now that Jews have come as, an independent state,